Imagine conquering most of the known world before the age of 33. Imagine defeating powerful empires, founding cities across continents, and building a legend so large that people would still talk about you more than 2,000 years later. That was Alexander the Great. Yet for all his victories, one mystery remains unsolved. How did the most powerful man in the world die so suddenly? In the spring of 323 BC, Alexander returned to Babylon after years of relentless campaigning. He had marched thousands of miles, fought countless battles, and created an empire stretching from Greece to the borders of India. Despite his incredible achievements, he showed no signs of slowing down. New military expeditions were already being planned. Arabia was likely next on his list. Babylon was a city of wealth, power, and political intrigue. It was here that Alexander spent his final weeks. Ancient sources describe a series of banquets, celebrations, and meetings as he prepared for future conquests. Then something unexpected happened. After attending a large drinking party, Alexander reportedly developed a fever. At first, it may not have seemed serious. Soldiers and commanders often became ill during campaigns, but this time was different. Day by day, his condition worsened. He continued giving orders while confined to bed, showing the determination that had defined his entire life. However, the fever did not break. As the days passed, Alexander became weaker. Ancient accounts suggest he struggled to speak and eventually lost the ability to communicate with his officers. His soldiers, desperate to see their king one last time, were allowed to file past his bedside. According to later stories, Alexander could only acknowledge them with silent gestures. Then, sometime in June 323 BC, Alexander died. He was just 32 years old. The shock was enormous. This was not merely the death of a king, it was the collapse of the central figure holding together the largest empire the world had yet seen. Almost immediately, questions began to spread. What had killed him? One theory is that Alexander died from a natural illness. Babylon was surrounded by marshlands where diseases were common. Some modern researchers believe he may have suffered from malaria, typhoid fever, or another serious infection. Typhoid is often mentioned because some descriptions of his symptoms appear to match the disease. Without modern medicine, even a powerful ruler would have had little chance of survival. Another possibility is that years of warfare had weakened his body. Alexander had survived numerous injuries throughout his campaigns. He had been struck by weapons, wounded in battle, and exposed to harsh conditions for years. By the time he reached Babylon, his health may already have been compromised. But the most famous theory involves poison. Because Alexander's death seemed sudden and politically convenient for certain rivals, rumors of assassination appeared almost immediately. Some ancient writers claimed that poison had been secretly added to his drink. Supporters of this idea point to the intense power struggles surrounding the Macedonian court. Many ambitious figures stood to gain from Alexander's death. However, most historians remain skeptical. Ancient poisons usually acted much faster or produced symptoms that do not match the surviving descriptions. The illness reportedly lasted for days, making poisoning less likely, though not impossible. There is also a more unusual theory. Some medical experts have suggested that Alexander may not have died immediately when people believed he had. A rare neurological condition could have caused paralysis while leaving him conscious. In a world without advanced medical knowledge, signs of life might have been difficult to detect. While fascinating, this idea remains highly speculative. The truth is that nobody knows for certain. The surviving records were written years after the event, often containing contradictions and political bias. Key evidence disappeared long ago. No definitive medical examination is possible. Yet perhaps that uncertainty is what keeps the story alive. Alexander conquered kingdoms, reshaped civilizations, and inspired generations of leaders, but his final days remain wrapped in mystery. Whether he died from disease, exhaustion, poison, or something else entirely, his death changed history forever. Within years, his empire fractured into competing kingdoms, and the world he built was transformed. The greatest conqueror of the ancient world left behind an enduring question, one that historians are still trying to answer today. Oh, and perhaps that is fitting. A man who seemed larger than life left behind a mystery larger than history itself, ensuring his name would never fade away. If you enjoyed this video and want more fascinating stories from history, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us create more content like this. Also, let us know in the comments what historical mystery, forgotten empire, legendary ruler, or strange event you'd like us to cover next. We read your suggestions, and many of our videos are inspired by your ideas. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our next journey into the most incredible stories from the past.